So all the journalists, butchers, farmers, those were kind of, it was the same mentality, just, you know, you would meet one person and would connect to another one, or?
Yeah, the community of meat, they are very close to each other because it's hard, it's very hard work. Being a butcher, being a farmer, being anything related to food is still very difficult. We have the chance nowadays to have like a trendy cook cuisine is trendy. A lot of people are really liking the cuisine, but the thing is still a very hard work, and farming is very difficult. So they are very close to each other and they help each other. Even they are from different countries. So the French butcher is hiring a Canadian young butcher. The Australian guy is sending somebody to Japan. So they know each other. There's a good community. Maybe not in France, maybe more difficult in France.
And this has a bit of a personal connection to you as how you grew up. Was there anything you were surprised by as you were going through, or did you have any thoughts going through it?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things. The future of the meat lovers is vegetarianism. Less meat we eat, better it will be. So I was not sure about that. But now with how the system is working, we kill too much animal, we do too much meat for very poor results. And the only way to save the meat for people who really like is just to eat less meat. That was a very surprising stuff. And also the also thing that it's surprised, it's a lot of people just think that cow eat grass. And I was totally astonished by that, because people forgot about just like cow eat grass and drink rainwater, by the way. It's so simple. But that's this type of very little things are very important, but that was a surprise.
The audience have any questions? Don't want to monopolize it. Yes.
Where can we find a list of all the restaurants that you went to?
Do you have a list of all the restaurants that you went to? For anybody else who wants to take 2 years?
There's a book in France that was released, the movie in French, and it was very successful. And I hope the book will be released in the US soon. But yeah, you can find it on Facebook or sometime just like answering questions. Lots of people now are trying to get the best steak in the world. The best steak that you have here, maybe they are not your best steaks, they are my best steaks, but at least you have a list of very different ways of cooking, farming, and butchering meat. And these 10 best are, I think, what really represent the actual situation of meat. That doesn't mean that my number one would be your number one. It's really like depending on a lot of stuff. But regarding the test, this number one, the Spanish guy, is really like, there is the Spanish guy and the others. There's a big gap of quality between him and the others.
It seemed like everybody had a set of rules that they followed when they were raising their cattle. And at the end, what you find is that the person you thought was number one seemed to just break all of the rules. They didn't follow any of the things that everybody else felt was so strict. Do you think the rules for raising the cattle are superficial, marketing ploys, or are they really important? And it just so happens that this one person who's breaking the rules happened to make good beef, but that the rules really are what makes a good cut of steak?
That's a good question. First of all, I think we have to start from the beginning. There was something that we had to cut in the movie that there's the guy from Joe Beef in Montreal says there is no bad steak. Every steak need to be respected. there is no bad steak. There's only people who are not doing their job correctly. And that's very true. There is no bad cow. There is no bad beef. There are animals. They're good. The way you're farming, the way you're butchering, the way you're cooking are making the difference. That's true. Now I think that there's a marketing approach of meat today that we need to be careful, because that's true that the marketing for Peter Ribere is very strong because it's a good meat. The marketing of the new one, the new butcher from Brooklyn is very different too. The thing is, I think that it's only a way of doing things correctly, and I think the numbers are killing everything. We need to produce less meat, kill less animal, and eat properly. That means that when you enter in a restaurant, you need to ask where the meat comes from. What kind of meat it is? What kind of breed? How old is it? Is it like 3 years, 18 months, 10 years? If you are in a restaurant and people from the restaurant doesn't know about it, just don't eat. You say, oh, I don't care. In France, for instance, we have the obligation to say meat from France or meat from Europe. So I always enter a restaurant and say, where do the meat come from? And say, oh, from France. Yeah, okay. When the wine is coming, I said, no, I don't need the wine. Give me a French wine. They said, what? There is so many French wine. Yeah, there is so many breeds. There is so many cattle. There is so many. So why you are doing like bullshit stuff from snobbish French wine stuff, and you forget about an animal? Oh yeah, they don't care. I don't know that.
In the back, yeah. That's you.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
great. So speaking about what you're talking about with wine and everything, I found a big parallel to that about all these different places around the world have different attitudes and have different sort of points of view that come from the land in which they're from. And that, I saw the parallel with wine and the terroir and everything like that. So I was
Yeah,
wondering-
that's exactly true. The problem that there is two big lies in the meat industry. First, they say that we're going to feed the world with meat. That's not true. First. And then we cannot eat meat everywhere on the planet. Some people say, oh yeah, we don't have, for instance, like in France too, I was by the sea near Marseille, and the guy said, oh, we don't have a good meat here. I say, okay, don't eat meat, well, but I like it. I like meat. I say, you're by the sea, you can eat fish. Yeah. So why we have to make meat where it doesn't belong, where the breed doesn't care? We have so big breeds in some part of France where it's raining every day, and the breeds are like going falling apart because they cannot stand up. There is too much mud, for instance. That kind of thing are totally different. You have to produce locally, eat locally. That means that some part of the world they don't have beef. That's all. Why there is so much beef in Brazil? There was beef in Brazil. Because we import beef, and now you have too much beef in Brazil. That doesn't make sense. Everywhere the same problem.
I've heard that argument before. I come from the restaurant industry as well, and the whole produce locally idea. What about the breed? What about those butchers who can't get their meat to a bigger audience? How can you make it commercially sustainable for your business if you can't? I mean, we all want to be eventually restaurant chefs who have our local produce and eat, locally and source the food locally. But how does the economy support that?
I don't know.
I'm asking out of interest, not provoking, because I find it very interesting, and I can't figure it out myself.
It depends where you basically depending on what's your terroir. if you can explain what is your terroir and what you can make with your terroir, if meat doesn't fit in, you don't have to do meat. Or you are very clear with your clients and say, this meat is coming from somewhere. There is a lot of cook and chef in France, for instance, that they don't have meat really good around, so they travel like 600 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers to have good meat from a butcher. But they do really a good job of explaining where the meat comes from. They go to the farm, they see the farmer, they talk about the farmer, they see the cow when they're alive. They even go to the slaughterhouse and find how they have been killed. So you can do your job and then bring the meat, but I would say smart, in a smart way. There's a lot of very good stories that I've heard of people doing very interesting work because they don't have like a terroir for meat. This guy in Spain, the terroir is not so good for beef, but he's doing a lot of work to make this beef very acceptable and very good, including the fact that, for instance, he's putting the beef in a truck a month before slaughtering it. And every day he's taking the beef for 1 hour in the truck, just to make not be afraid of the truck. It's crazy, but he did that because he tried to do better meat. But the meat doesn't come from the place he lives. The beef are coming all around Europe. So I think it's just a question of being smart enough to explain when you don't have the terroir for meat. If you sell meat in your restaurant, you have to make a good work around it. I think it can work.
We have time for one more. I think in the back.
Hi. Would going to slower cooking methods like barbecuing or stewing would be a more sustainable use of using the beef because you don't have to have such a fatty beef, and it could be more. It could be older beef. Would that be a more sustainable way of using the beef?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Instead of cooking it quickly, like cooking steak, would like barbecue or like other slow cooking methods be a more sustainable use of the beef?
What cooking technique is better for the beef?
Yeah, like barbecue or.
Two things.
Yes.
That work always. No additional fat, so no butter, no oil, no flame.
So yes, barbecue, low
That
flame.
doesn't work for the number one, we use flame. That doesn't work for number two or number three that use butter. But usually you don't have to put additional fat. Basically, meat is good for the health as long as you cook it without burning it or putting some additional fat. So I would say that everything that looks like the Japanese way, that teppanyaki is very good. Or maybe the broiler from Peter Luger is very good. Very good. It's a brand called Montagu. It's a very well-known brand of broiler. It's a 700, 800 degrees. It's very hot. It cooks very quick. So you have to make it rest very long, a little longer. Basically, you have to cook the same time you rest the meat. That works every time. But I would say that the best technique are that. The wrong technique is, the worst is too much butter, too much oil, and too much barbecuing without being very careful, because you have to really not grill the meat. You have to cook it. It's very different. In France, for instance, we use mainly oil and water and sauce, but in France we are cook, we are chef. We don't like meat. We like food. Yeah, that's if you go to a 3-star restaurant, some of the 3-star restaurants I went, I say, just give me a piece of meat. The guy said, no, I can't. Why? Because I'm French. I cannot do that. Yeah, I have to cook. Okay, you have to cook. Then And then they send me something you don't even care, you don't even know it's meat. Say, "See that meat? Yeah, it's meat. Yeah, where? Somewhere. In a 3-star, one 3-star say, I don't know where the meats come from. It's from France, but I don't know where. I don't know the breed. The guy is a 3-star. I said,
So now we can all give our waiters a hard time. You know, chit chat. But I'd like to thank you, Frank, again.